Blessings. My name is Felicia, and um, this morning we'll be doing some heart opening exercises, asanas. um, and let's just begin seated with your legs in cross-legged Sukhasana or half lotus, lotus, whatever is your preference. It's good to sit on the edge of a blanket so that your knees are at least level with your hips. It's not quite there yet, but um, it helps to extend the spine more if you can sit on the edge of a blanket. So let's just begin with rolling our shoulders. So just slowly roll the shoulders back, up and forward, round, whatever direction, and then switch directions slowly in the opposite direction. Breathing deeply, and then just let the shoulders settle down, let gravity drag them toward the ground. Even as we're finding the natural curves of the spine, the lower back coming in, the little bit of roundness in the upper back, and slightly lifting the chin parallel with the floor so that the back of the neck has that convex character. And as if someone's pulling you up through the crown of the head, just extending the spine, even drawing in the rib cage a little bit, and the lower belly slightly, not hard, just so that you grow taller. And then we'll take the arms out to the side and bring the arms overhead, palms touch, and side bend to the left. Reaching through the arm, through the right arm, wiggle the fingertips, turning the gaze up at the right arm. And then we'll twist to the right. Left hand comes to the right knee, right hand behind. Lower the shoulders again, just roll them down and back. And just a gentle twist. And then we'll cross the right hand over to the left knee and round the spine back. You can pull the knees up a little bit, chin towards the chest. And then coming forward, open the arms and lift the heart, lift the gaze up, arch the spine, even gazing up at the ceiling. And then return to center. And if you've got your legs in cross-legged or lotus, switch the cross of your legs and bring the arms up and overhead. And we'll side bend to the right, reaching through the left arm, moving the fingers a lot. You can even make fists opening and closing the hands. Keep the shoulders down and away. And then twist to the left. Right hand comes to the left knee, left hand behind, reaching through the crown of the head again, even as we twist. Breathing deeply into the belly. And crossing the left arm over to the right knee. Draw the spine back, rounding, chin towards chest. And feeling the heart opening in the back. Shoulder blades wide, and then open the arms and lift the heart. Arch the spine, opening the front of the heart. And relax back to center. And then we'll take the legs about wider than hip distance apart, about shin's length from foot to knee distance apart, because we'll then windshield wiper the legs to the left and lift the right hip up And windshield wiper to the right and lift the left hip up. And back to the left. And then bring the right arm around behind us for twisted cobra. The elbows can be bent a little bit, and we're trying to square the shoulders toward the back. And then coming down on the right forearm with it parallel with the chest, you can reach out with the left arm. And just breathing into this twist. And walk the left arm in again, extending up through the crown one more time, and coming around all the way to the other side, twisting to the right, and bring the left arm around, then twisted cobra on the other side, lifting the heart, and then coming down onto the right forearm, or I guess the left forearm, and reaching the right hand out. Doesn't matter. Breathing here. And then walking the hands back in and coming back to center. And just windshield wiper to the left. Inhale, lifting the hip as you do so. Windshield wiper to the right, lift the left hip. And come back to center. And then we'll come over to the left, and this time plant your left hand and lift the right arm up and over, opening up, lift the hips way up into a stargazer. And lower the right arm and windshield wiper over to the right and plant the right hand and lift the hips and lift the left arm up and over, opening the heart. Breathing here, just pausing, a little bit of an arm strengthening, and lower down. Come back to center. Palms to the bottoms of the feet together, and just butterfly the hips a few times. And then we'll come onto all fours. Set your blanket aside and plant the knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders. Natural curves of the spine. And let's take our cats and cows very slowly with long breaths. So inhale into cow and exhale slowly into cat. All the way, empty it out. Inhale, fill the breath, cow, and pause, and then exhale slowly into cat. One more time with your own breath. And return the spine to neutral. And tuck the toes, come to down dog. Pedal the feet out. Just the elbows can be slightly bent, pressing the shoulders back through. Still opening the heart here. And rising up onto the toes, lifting the hips as high as we can. Maybe straightening the elbows this time. And then release the heels toward the mat. And I like this step back, maybe half a footprint back, and release the heels down again for a long down dog. And then we'll come forward, knees, chest to the floor, chin, and scoop through. And extend the legs. And come into Sphinx pose with the forearms shoulder width apart. And draw the shoulders back at the same time as you pull forward a little bit with the arms. And draw the belly, the lower belly, up toward the spine, just slightly. And then turn the head to the left and gaze at your left heel. And then turn without moving the shoulders, turn to the right and turn your eyes as well to gaze at the right heel. And coming back forward, rolling down, hands next to the shoulders, and we'll come into just a baby cobra here. So firming the legs, not any weight in the hands, you can just have your fingertips on the floor, pulling the shoulder blades together, again opening the heart. And then come down and just rest your forehead on the backs of your hands, stacked under your forehead. And maybe shift the hips from side to side a little bit. And then we'll come into locust pose, Shalabhasana. It's really good for the lower back. So lift the legs, make them one, and lift the heart and take the arms back and gaze forward on the floor. And breathe here. Sometimes it helps me to just wiggle my fingers and reach back. Lift the legs a little higher and come back down. Forehead to the backs of the hands and shift the hips from side to side. And then we'll hands next to the chest, lift back up to all fours and then tuck the toes and come back to down dog. And we'll take the right leg up in the air and draw the knee to chest. Modified plank. Take that leg back up into the air behind and draw the right knee to chest. Exhale. Inhale, lift the leg. And exhale, step it through. We'll just come to our warrior one, followed by a humble warrior. So wing the arms back, come to a 45-degree position and really establish the strength of the legs. The feet are on separate tracks, left foot slightly pointing out to the side. And then come up and you can have the arms in a high V, like this. Square the hips forward, even as you're sinking down. And the arms can also interlace the hands and release the pointer fingers up. Kali Mudra. And sink down into that right leg. And then we'll straighten the right leg and bring the arms behind, interlace the fingers, palms either together or they can come apart, whatever works for your shoulders on this day, and bend the right leg and come forward, lifting the arms away from the back, very stable lower body. And release the neck and head as you draw the arms up and away from the back. So the right shoulder can be on the right knee or inside it. Just find what's comfortable for you. And breathe. And then we'll release the arms inside the right leg and come into um, lizard lunge. So we'll start with the left leg lifted and lower the hips, sinking down, and then lower the left knee and extend the foot. And then you can stay right here. If this isn't accessible for you, you can always if you find that your position isn't very good, you can bring a block and place your hands on a block, or walk the hands forward and sink lower, keeping the hips down. So the hips are really opening and extending and sinking down. Breathing here. And I know it's a little bit early in the practice, but we've already done some hip opening. So walk the right foot over to the left side of the mat. We're coming into pigeon, and lower the right knee to the floor. And if you need a prop, a block under the right thigh or hip can be very helpful. And then come up onto the fingertips. And you can tuck the left toes to draw the left leg back a little bit and really square the hips down and forward. And then lift the heart and sort of puff the chest out the way a pigeon does. And then walk the hands forward and come onto the forearms. Or again, you can stack the hands with the backs of the hands and the forehead on the hands. And just relaxing. See if you can let go in that right hip. Release the muscles of the right hip, the right thigh. Breathing deeply into that area. And rising back up again. Coming to the hands. And tuck the left toes and draw the right leg back again. Come to down dog. And this time we'll roll out into plank pose. Exhale back to down dog. Inhale into plank. Exhale down dog. Inhale to plank and tip over onto your right hand. You can put your right knee on the floor directly under the hip, or keep the legs long and lift the hips way up. Lift the left arm up, side plank. Breathing deeply. And windmill the left arm down. Come back to down dog. And just take a few breaths here. And then stepping the right foot closer to the left, lift the left leg high in the air and draw left knee to chest, modified plank. Lift the left leg high in the air, inhale, reach. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, reach the leg up one more time. And exhale, step it through. Establish your warrior one base. Feet on separate tracks. The right toes are slightly pointed out. Wing the arms back and bring the torso to 45 degrees. And reestablish your base. And then come up into your warrior one, high V or Kali Mudra. And try to gaze up at the ceiling. So warrior one is really a back bend, squaring the hips down, maybe sinking a little lower into the left foot, left leg, by bending the left knee a little more. Keep breathing deeply. And then we'll straighten the left leg and draw the arms behind and interlace the hands in the opposite way, palms together or apart. Draw the shoulder blades together and then bend the left knee deeply again. Coming into humble warrior. Exhale. Reach the arms up and away from the back and release the neck and head. Strong legs. Can rest the left shoulder on the left knee, or you can bring it inside. Maybe you have to widen your feet a little bit more to do that. I have broad shoulders. Breathing deeply. Again, release the neck and the head. So you're gazing really back at the back of your mat. And release the arms down inside the left leg and come up onto the right toes and establish your lizard lunge. The left shoulder and the left knee are together, and then lower the right knee to the floor. And you can bring blocks under your hands if you need them, or you can begin to walk the hands forward and sink down, or just stay where you are, wherever it's comfortable for you to sink the hips down, breathing deeply. And then bring the hands back in a little bit. Walk the left foot, inch it over to the right side of the mat and lower the left knee to the left side of the mat. And you can take your block or a blanket to support the left thigh or hip, coming up onto the fingertips. Roll the shoulders back and down. Can tuck the right toes and draw the right leg back farther and strengthen the right leg. And lift the heart, lift the gaze. Puff the chest out. And then walk the hands forward. Can come to the forearms or stack the hands and place your forehead on the back of the hands. Maybe stack the hands and then switch the stack. Breathing deeply. See if you can let go in that left hip, releasing the muscles. Breathing deeply into that left hip and thigh and knee. And then we'll rise back up. Tuck the right toes and draw the left leg back, coming into down dog again. You can set the block aside if you used one. And establish your down dog. Then we'll come out into plank one more time and tip over to the left. You can bring the left knee under the left hip or keep the legs straight. I like to stagger the feet so that the toes of the left heel are on the toes of the left foot are on the right heel, and lift lift the right arm up. I'm trying to learn to mirror So I get confused. And bring the right arm back down, come back into plank, and then lower the knees one at a time as wide as the mat, toes together, sink the hips back, stretch the arms long, and come into child's pose. And relax the belly and breathe deeply into the lower belly. And then walking the hands back, bring the knees back together. And we'll tuck the toes and do a toe stretch here. So rising up. And we'll just take the arms out in a T and then bring the right arm under the left and wrap it around for eagle arms. And lift the arms up in the air, opening the back of the heart. And then squeezing it down, drawing everything into the midline. And release the arms. Let's just take it right to the other side. Left arm under right. And lift the arms high. And squeeze it in. And then bring the fingertips to the floor, and we can just try toe stand. Just keeping the fingertips on the floor, but draw the lower back in. So the fingers are maybe next to your legs. And the thighs and shins are kind of parallel with the floor. And maybe once you've really established it, you can bring the palms to heart center and balance on the toes here. And then bring the fingertips back to the floor and lift the hips up. Get the feet hip distance apart, hands to shins, and extend through the spine long, really reaching through the crown of the head in an L shape. And then hinging at the hips and bending the knees, bring the belly onto the thighs. And take the hands down to the backs of the calves, ankles, or even the feet, and release the neck and the head. And then once you're established here, maybe you can begin to straighten the knees a little bit more. Maybe there's a little shaking, and that's okay. Just find your edge today. Keep breathing. And then bending the knees again. Bring the toes together, the outside edges of the feet parallel. The knees can come together. Lift the toes up and spread them, and then release them again to the floor. Bend the knees deeply, and we'll rise up for chair pose or fierce. And breathe here. And then straightening the legs, reaching the arms high up in the air, and lowering the arms next to the body. And we'll come into some balance poses now. So if you like to step off your mat or even come to a wall with your right hand on the wall or on the back of a chair, first just establish your mountain pose. Find the natural curves of the spine again, and root down through the right leg, strengthen the right hip, thigh, calf, and bend the left leg and catch the left ankle. Bring the heel to the buttocks and align the knees with each other. There's a little bit of pressure here using the strength of the arms. Maybe you can extend the right arm up or just keep the fingertips on the chair or the wall. Pressing the left foot into the left hand, you can begin to tip forward and just find the comfortable place for your king dancer. Doesn't have to be tipped forward very far. Can even stand erect, just as we started. Breathe. Keep drawing that right hip in. Strong right leg. And then rising back up again. Step the left foot forward and maybe turn and place the left hand high on the wall. And then bring the right ankle to the right hand. Align the knees. Got a Charlie horse. And then bring the right hip to the buttocks and squeeze it in. Now strengthen the left leg and the left buttocks. Draw the hip in. And then press the right foot into the right hand. And again, you can stay erect here. Just right here is King Dancer. Everything is perfect wherever you are. Or you can begin to tip forward and find a little bit deeper pose. Breathe deeply. And rising back up again. Release the right foot to the floor. And take the feet wider than hip distance apart and just swing the arms from the shoulders. Maybe lifting the heels up as you swing. Maybe turning the head all the way to the back. And slow it down. And we'll come back to the wall. Left hand on the wall again. Rooting down through the left leg. We'll draw the right knee to chest. And then take it out and open it to the side, flexing the right foot. If you'd prefer to try ballet, you can take ballet here. This is a place on the way there. And then drawing the right knee back to center, squeeze the knee into the chest, and then extend the right leg out and breathe. And release the right foot to the floor and bring the right hand to the wall. Keep the chin up, gazing forward, rooting down through the right leg, draw the right hip in, left knee to chest. Squeeze it in, flex the left foot without rounding the lower back. And then take that leg out to the side, or you can catch the heel for ballet. Extending the leg and bringing it back in. Squeeze the left knee in again, and then extend the leg and breathe. And lower the left leg to the floor. Let's take one more balance pose. I'm not sure. What should we do? I guess we'll just take a tree pose. So left hand on the wall, rooting down through the left leg, draw the knee to chest, turn the right knee out, and place the right foot either on the calf or the thigh. You can press down on the right knee a little bit with the right hand. Draw the left hip in, strengthen the left leg. Press the foot and the leg together and lift the arms up, lift the gaze up, open the heart and breathe. Maybe even smile here. And turn the right knee forward. We'll just come right to the other side. Right hand on the wall. Left knee to chest, rooting down through the right leg. Draw the right hip in. Bring the left foot inside the right leg and press the leg and the foot together, maybe pressing down on the left knee with the left hand. And then when you find your tree pose is really stable, you can grow your branches. Keep pressing the foot and the leg together. And turning the left knee forward, releasing that foot to the floor. Then we'll come back to the mat and let's see, bring the feet as wide as the mat with the toes pointed out a little bit. We're coming down into squat pose. If you need a block to sit on, grab your block. Take the arms up overhead, palms together, bend the knees and track them over the toes as you lower straight down into squat. And we'll take Kapalabhati here. So Kapalabhati is a sharp exhale and then just allow the inhale to happen. Reaching up through the crown of the head. The elbows press the knees apart. So inhale, exhale completely. Inhale about halfway and begin. Inhale fully and release all the tension. Hold the breath in. Release the shoulders. Close the eyes. And release the breath. And we'll come into a camel pose now. So you can tip forward and bring your knees to the floor. If you need your blanket to protect the knees, bring the blanket onto the mat and knees onto the blanket and tuck the toes. And rise up with the hands on the hips. So there's a lot of different hand positions here. You can have your thumbs at the base of the spine with the fingers wrapped around the hips. You can have your hands in your back pockets of your jeans. You can turn the fingers up and place them here. Or if you have a deeper camel, you can reach for your heels. So I like to have my thumbs next to the spine. So just lift the chest, lift the heart, roll the shoulders back and squeeze them together. Squeeze the shoulder blades. And then track the gaze along the ceiling as you press the hips forward. and come back into your camel. Keep breathing. These back bends are very warming, which is great on a cold morning. Maybe go a little deeper, press the hips forward. And then using the strength of the abdomen, rise back up again. And this time we'll come into child's pose, but come off of the blanket and bring the knees together. And if your knees can't handle child's pose, you can always place a blanket in the crook behind your knees and extend the arms back with the palms up next to your hips. Forehead on the floor, where the hairline. Take a few deep breaths here. If you like to make fists and pound your back next to your spine, this can really be a nice release for the back. I love it. And then just settle in. And then hands under the shoulders, press back up again, and swing the legs out to the side that you normally don't. Bring them around. We'll come into a boat pose. So first, just with the hands behind you, the feet hip distance apart, and really extend through the crown of the head. Gaze up slightly. Then bring your hands behind the thighs, and as if your whole torso, neck, and head are a board, tip back, hinging it open from the hips. And come up to the toes, and this can be your boat pose right here. Or lift the shins parallel with the floor. You can release the back of the thighs and extend the arms out, but keep the shoulders back and down. And breathe. Draw the lower belly in. Using the strength of your abdomen as much as the strength of the legs in boat pose. And then see if you can stretch the legs and lean back, canoe pose. And then collapse onto the floor. And just take a breath here. And bringing the knees, bending the knees, feet hip distance apart. We'll take some bridge lifts here. So with the palms down and next to the feet are just the distance away where you can brush the backs of your heels with your fingertips. And then lift the hips and lift the arms and take the arms all the way overhead. On an inhale, and then exhale, bring the hips and the arms down, and they should meet on the floor at the same time. Inhale, lift the hips, lift the arms, all the way overhead, pressing the hips up with the strength of the legs. Exhale, the arms down and the hips down. And one more time, we'll take a bridge, but we'll interlace the fingers under the back. So squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the hips, and interlace the fingers beneath the back and walk the arms closer together and lift the hips up, pressing with your legs. Use the strength of your legs all the way through the buttocks to lift the hips. And then take deep belly breaths. Keep gazing straight up at the ceiling. The chin is a little bit lifted so that the back of the neck is off the floor. And breathe. Pressing up a little bit higher with the hips, using the strength of the legs, and then release the hands and drape the spine down one vertebrae at a time, all the way down to the floor. And then draw the knees in to the chest, hands on the knees, and make small circles. Draw circles on the ceiling with your knees. Very slowly, just massaging the lower back. And then take it in the other direction. And bringing the feet back down. As usual, we'll come into a half shoulder stand. If you would prefer a full shoulder stand or plow, you're welcome to take that. So draw the knees to chest and lift the hips up off the floor and scoop them up with your hands. Draw the elbows closer together. Draw the shoulder blades closer together and walk the hands down the back. Keep gazing straight up at the ceiling, even lifting the chin a little bit so there's a little space under the neck, and extending the legs up. Now strengthen the legs all the way from the buttocks to the toes, pressing them together, and then release that effort. And just allow the legs to be stacked using the bones to support them. So there's no muscle effort in the legs. And you can close the eyes and begin to observe your breath, allowing the breath to settle. You can imagine a little flame coming up from your belly button. Fire in the belly. And then can bring the legs overhead, not all the way to the floor, unless you want to come into plow, and slide the hands out to the ankles. Longevity pose. And just breathe here, balanced on the back of the head and the upper back. Still, the legs are pretty relaxed. And then round the spine down and bring the arms under the buttocks. Palms down, hands under the buttocks. And let's try lowering the legs with 3 to 5 breaths. So as you inhale, slowly lower the legs and pause and exhale. Inhale, lower again. Exhale, pause. Inhale, lower again. Exhale, pause. Inhale, lower all the way to the floor. And pause. And then point the toes and strengthen the legs. And draw the elbows closer together. You may have to take the hands farther out, under the thighs even. And then lift the chest way up and allow the head to drape back. We're coming into fish pose. And the top of the head just touches the floor, supporting yourself with the strength of your arms and strength of your legs. So the legs are engaged now. And breathe. And lifting the head, roll the spine back down. Let's see how we're doing for time. Okay, so bring the feet back in and brush the heels with your fingertips. And we'll come into one more bridge, or you can take wheel pose here. Not for long. We can just try it. So um, I like to bring my hands to the floor first before I come up into bridge so that I have good hand placement over my shoulders with the fingertips pointing back toward my body. And again, feet are hip distance apart, and lift the hips up, and then using the strength of the legs, draw the head underneath and press up with the arms into wheel. Breathe deeply. Can come back down at any point. Just don't crash onto your head. Lower your head slowly and then roll down. Back to your back. Draw the knees in one more time. And just wrap your arms and catch your elbows with your hands. And squeeze in. And then we'll bring our arms out to the side for our lying side twist. I like to have a blanket under my calves. You can use a block under your calves or nothing. And shift the hips to the left, arms out in a T. Draw the knees up toward the chest and allow them to come over to the right. Walk the right shoulder out from under. Turn to gaze over your left arm. Close the eyes and release. Allow the breath to come and go. Natural breath. The eyes may just naturally close as you release. And then drawing the knees back up to center. Take your blanket or block to the left. Arms again in a T. Shift the hips to the right, 6 to 8 inches. Draw the knees to chest and lower them to the left. Walk the left shoulder out, scooch it out, and turn to gaze over the right arm and release all effort, especially in the hips. And drawing the knees back up to center. We'll stretch the legs long, one at a time, to the corners of the mat. And flex the feet and point the toes toward each other. Shift the hips from side to side, and then allow the feet to flop out. Bring the arms down to about a 45, 30 degrees from your sides with the palms face up. If you need your blanket or socks, we have 5 minutes for a good long shavasana. So just begin to observe your breath coming and going like the gentle waves of the ocean. And we have a beautiful clear blue sky today. So just your field of vision is filled with that gentle blue color. The warmth of the sun, imagine the warmth of the sun warming your whole body. Keep watching your breath come and go. Open awareness, completely at ease, at peace in the world. If a thought arises in your mind, just name it. Thought. That's a thought. And let it go. Release it. Beginning to bring the attention back into your body, back into the room, out into the world. Can move your fingers and toes, stretch your arms, take a good morning stretch from fingertips to toe tips. And then on an inhale, draw the knees in and roll onto your right arm. Pillow your head on your right arm if it's morning. Left, turn to the left if it's evening. Take a couple of gentle breaths here in gratitude to yourself for coming to the practice. And then with your top arm, very gently sitting up, finding your seat on a blanket. Maybe with your feet crossed the opposite way that you normally would. And find the natural curves of your spine one more time, rolling the shoulders back and down. Take the arms overhead, palms touch, thumbs to the forehead, think well, lips speak well, heart love well. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today.